Thank you, Speaker. Well, this matter of public importance is one very close to my heart. Our frontline workers are the people who do keep our state moving along. And the member for Polwarth's contribution I listened to intently. It did appear, however, that he may have tuned out after the first couple of minutes of the member for Cororoy's contribution, because I distinctly recall her mentioning our CFA volunteers and our other frontline workers. In fact, it was a very comprehensive list which looked at all the people who contribute and front up every day, day in, day out, to make sure that our state keeps ticking along. Moving on. I joined the member for Cororoy, Speaker, in recognising the hard work of all frontline workers, especially as we enter this holiday and summer season. My contribution today will focus on retail and hospitality workers. These are two industries really close to my heart, but it's not to detract from the important work of all others, but one that I just wish to highlight. I'm the daughter originally of a cafe owner. Back then it was called a coffee lounge, who went on to open up and run video libraries. Remember those? I worked in retail from the age of 12 and hospitality from 20 in pubs in Manchester until my teaching years. I then worked for the Shop Distributive and Allied Employees Association, the SDA Union for retail and fast food workers, and re-entered hospitality and retail space when I bought my greengrocery in 2015 and then opened up a cafe in 2017. So these are industries I feel I know very well and care about deeply, both for employees and the small business owners themselves. I was a business owner, thank you, Member for Glen Waverley. As a kid, we never had time away over Christmas and the summer holidays. They were the busiest times for my parents' businesses. Instead of beach holidays away, we worked in our stores, ensuring customers could hire their videos, buy their popcorn and entertain their families on a budget. There was nothing like 5 weekly videos for $10 to keep the kids happy and not killing each other once school had finished. Those were the days. I know many of us here are looking forward to the upcoming holidays. It's definitely the chatter in the hallways. It's a chance to take a breather and slow down as the weather warms up. How lucky are we that we can? Because so many people in retail, in fast food and in restaurants, in hospitality, right across my electorate of Monbulk, but also all across the state of Victoria, from Melbourne's CBD to the far reaches of our regions, they won't be winding down, they'll be ramping up. Small business owners and employees across the retail and hospitality industries will be working longer hours and at a greater intensity to keep the rest of us well-fed, well-watered, keep the fuel in our cars, our pharmacy scripts dispensed and the gifts flowing over Christmas and New Year. They'll be cooking us sufficient chips, the souvlaki's, the kebabs and the banh mi to be enjoyed on the beach. They'll be sweltering over a fryer. They'll be over the hot baker's ovens or the grill while we dip ourselves into the ocean or a river, or we go for a nice cool walk in a temperate rainforest. Many will work on Christmas Day itself, especially across hospitality. So let us spare a thought for those turning up when we're still in our pyjamas and enjoying meals with those we love. Let's hope they will be paid properly too for their efforts on days when we all get to enjoy time off. If you're planning a New Year's Eve at a fun restaurant or bar, think of the staff who'll be serving you, because without them, your night's not going to happen. For retail workers, it's not just the lead up to Christmas that will leave them with sore feet for the hours that they work at a counter or they stock the shelves. The Boxing Day sales will see a huge spike in retail trade, and it will be hard-working employees ensuring that those bargains are processed and sold to people seeking to save some money. Speaker, I would like to impress upon Victorians to please keep their cool during the sales. If an item is not there or the queue to pay is long, please do not take it out on the staff. Retail, fast food and hospitality workers are some of the lowest paid across our state and our nation, yet they're there when we need them. Without them, our world simply grinds to a halt. How else do you buy your toilet paper? Retail trade sector in Victoria employs 297,471 or 9.4% people. It makes it the third largest employer, effectively equal to construction and behind healthcare and social assistance, accommodation and food social assistance. The accommodation and food services sector employs about 196,000. So put the two together and we're talking about just under 400,000 people employed across retail and hospitality. So I'd like to say to Victorians, Speaker, that when they next go to a supermarket, a retail store, a takeaway shop, a servo or a pharmacy, take a moment to say thank you to the person serving you for working when you don't have to. A smile and an expression of gratitude goes such a long way. Fellow Victorians, please remember that people in service are not servants. A wonderful former employee of mine, Susie, reminded her colleagues of this if ever they were abused by a customer. It became my mantra. In my store, the customer was not always right. No member of staff was ever expected to cop abuse. During 2020 and 2021, the abuse from certain customers who refused to wear a mask in my shop became so regular and so vile that I hired a security guard to stand at our door for 8 weeks to ask people to wear a piece of cloth on their face. If they became agitated, and several did every day, I was called forward to deal with the abuser because I firmly believed that none of my staff were paid enough or trained at a level to cop some of the awful aggression which was on display. Every day when I woke up and got myself ready to turn up at my store, I did so with a knot of fear and anxiety in my stomach. I didn't know what the day would hold, but I knew that it wouldn't be long until I was abused. Let me assure people out there who've never worked in customer-facing roles or patient-facing roles that abuse from customers can leave you with a feeling of such dread. It's absolutely unacceptable, and I'm proud that the union I had the distinct pleasure to work for, the SDA, has been running their No One Deserves a Serve campaign for several years now to good effect. They have highlighted some of the atrocious behaviour which retail and fast food staff can be subjected to, and I'd like to share just one example because I'm conscious of the time. This is a fast food worker here in Victoria who said, a customer called and said he was not happy with one of the burgers in his meal. I offered a replacement or refund, but he demanded a full $45 refund on the whole meal which he had actually eaten. He then said he was going to come back to the store, jump the counter, smash my head in and kill me. Retail, fast food and hospitality workers simply do not deserve to be abused. They don't deserve to be threatened. They don't deserve to be attacked. No one does. If I look at the SDA's survey which they conducted this year of over 4,600 workers, unfortunately things aren't getting better. In the last 12 months, 87% of workers said they had experienced verbal abuse from a customer. In 2016 and 2021, the surveys had recorded 88%. 9% of respondents said they'd been spat on. 12.5% of respondents said they had been the victim of physical violence from a customer, compared with 8% in the 2021 survey. And 17% of respondents reported the incidents of customer abuse and violence they experienced were of a sexual nature, compared to 10.65% in the 2021 survey. I myself have been sexually assaulted when working, and I can tell you it's something that lives with you forever. So, when I entered Parliament, I did so with retail employees and small business at the forefront of my mind. 98% of businesses in our state are small businesses, and collectively they're the largest employer. So whether they're in the CBD or Mount Dandenong, Bendigo or Benalla, Torquay or Tatura, we know that as a government, when small businesses succeed, Victoria thrives. They are absolutely the heart of our local communities. They generate important jobs, they create local economic activity, and quite often they support other small businesses in the region. And many of them form the fabric of our local communities, and they sponsor sporting clubs and organisations. They get involved in community events. So please, I would plead to Victorians out there to support your local small business. Choose your strip shops that are part of your community. Put your hands in your pockets and spend that money over their counter and support the people working there and those people who form part of the fabric of where you live. And I'm really proud to be part of an Allen Labor government which proudly backs small businesses. At this year's state budget, we've actually delivered reform to reduce pressure on small businesses by making payroll taxes fairer. From 1 July next year, we're going to raise the tax-free threshold to $900,000 with a further increase to $1 million from 1 July 2025. And that's going to save 26,000 Victorian businesses up to $14,550 per annum, and around 6,000 of those businesses will stop paying payroll tax altogether. We are doing a lot to help. There's so much more that we're doing, and I'm afraid I know I'm about to run out of time, Speaker, I'm mindful. But I do just want to say one more time, a huge, sincere thanks to all frontline workers, whether they be in retail, in hospitality, transport workers, CFA volunteers, whether they be in hospitals, wherever someone turns up on a day where you can have off, thank them.
Member's time has expired. Member for Gippsland.